Heat rising off the pavement as the Detroit summer clangs toward fall, the kind of season where every snap feels heavier, like the whole city's holding its breath. Picture the corner of Trumbull and Warren, where the bars got that old wood. Smell and TVs flicker with every throw, every blitz eyes darting like hawks. Now, lean in close, because something's stirring beneath the surface, something Detroit fans have been sensing, but nobody quite wants to say out loud. You know that feeling, the one where all the noise around the team drops. The chatter between rivals gets quiet, and suddenly the chess pieces start moving with purpose. Imagine a Green Lions defensive front, caked in hard-earned mud on the gridiron, looking hungrier than a winter in Corktown. And somewhere in the haze, a name keeps floating up in whispers ... But hold up, we're not revealing that just yet. Lions faithful, you know better than most. Defining moments come wrapped in layers, not just from play calls or draft picks, but from the off-field storms, the personal battles our guys wrestle with. It's Detroit, man. We live for the comeback. Stories, the second chances, the next time. It's our year. Talk across those cold Ford Field seats. So, before we dive headfirst into the news likely to shake up our defensive outlook, gather round your tailgate fire. Grab that last sip of Detroit-style brew, because this one's got all the ingredients: heartbreak, focus, and a deep rumble hinting at something electric just around the bend. And yes, you better believe it's also about who's got the grit to break through and earn snaps in a locker room grinding for legitimacy. Now, close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a defensive end known for dissolving offenses like winter ice melts at Jefferson Avenue, once tangled in the messy intersections of fame and romance, now clearing the fog. Imagine him stepping back into the weight room, his eyes locked on the prize, every rep pressing harder, every breath deeper. This ain't just another free agent on the market. This is a guy who knows Detroit's history like he lives it, from Orlovsky's underdog spark to the savage playoff push that nearly rewrote our story last season. And the word passing from the front office through the grapevine? Zadarius freaking Smith. Yeah, that's Zadarius. Here's the thunderclap. Smith, once a Detroit Lion and a nightmare for quarterbacks, might be suiting back up in Honolulu. Blue sooner than you think. Why? Because the dust has settled on his personal life, the distractions peeled away like an old Motor City barnacle, giving him the green light to sign once that paper feels right. Lions GM Brad Holmes hasn't pulled punches, openly sharing that talks with Smith's camp continue in that slow burn manner only NFL contract negotiations can master. But here's the wrinkle: the Lions' defensive end depth chart, where youth was rising fast, suddenly faces a callback from a veteran with legit pass rush juice. This isn't just nostalgia. It's about shoring up a front line hungry for disruption. Smith's fit within Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson's scheme, perfect storm. See, the Lions are twisting toward a balanced attack that leans on pressure. From the edge to create chaos, mixing run-stopping grit with relentless pass rush. Smith brings that blend last season, even limited. He racked up pressures and brought a savvy linebacker's intellect, playing roughly 300 snaps, a solid piece in the puzzle. With him back, the young guys behind him call them rookie hopefuls, or second-year grinders have to hustle harder, knowing the best man plays. Holmes made that crystal clear. The roster's rising in quality, meaning veterans won't just serve as warm bodies. They'll be the heartbeat of this defense. And speaking of roster ripples, who's losing snaps? Someone's going to feel the weight. Rookie edge rushers who flashed, promising names trying to carve out their hometown legend, could find the road steeper. Meanwhile, Smith's presence could push the defense into a new gear, the kind that streets of Detroit know well: hard-hitting. No frills, relentless. It echoes with memories of Calvin Johnson stretching boundaries or Barry Sanders dancing through defenses. A luxury of elite talent that changes how offensive lines sweat, how play calls are drawn up in hushed meeting rooms. Smith signals more than a comeback. He represents a gauntlet thrown down to anyone standing between Detroit and that elusive playoff breakthrough. Now, I'm picturing this whispered locker room moment, Coach Dan Campbell leaning in, voice low but charged. "Za, you ready to light this place up again?" And Zadarius grinning back, that Detroit fire in his eyes, says, "Let's finish what we started. It's raw. It's Detroit. It's the heartbeat of a city refusing to wait for glory." But here's where the road splits wide open. What if Smith's return means a shakeup that slides following pieces into a maelstrom? What does it do to cap space, to future draft picks buzzing with promise? How do rival defenses adjust when the Lions' edge suddenly brings that unpredictable nightmare fuel? And deeper still, could this be the blueprint Brad Holmes wants, a veteran core married with blue-chip youth to finally push this team past a final regular season buzzer into playoff territory that's felt like an elusive ghost for too long? Folks, the engines are revving. The city's pulse quickens. Zadarius Smith coming back? It ain't just a signing. It's a signal that Detroit's grinding forward with a hunger no setback can silence. And as that Ford Field fog rolls in, on game day, the question won't be if we're back. It'll be asterisk, how loud can we roar this time? Detroit, this isn't just a comeback story anymore. It's the reawakening of a beast that's been inside us all along, waiting for the right moment to roar back into the national spotlight with a vengeance that echoes through the cold concrete of Ford Field and the scarred streets beyond. The city's raw, electric core pulses with anticipation as Zadarius Smith's potential return hangs in the balance, a move that could tilt the entire league's defensive power structure like a Jenga tower on game day one wrong shift, and everything collapses or ascends. This isn't hypothetical anymore. Holmes has laid the groundwork, reshuffling cap space, pushing aside a few salary cap casualties, all with one eye on that playoff burst Detroit has been inching toward since the undying legend of Barry Sanders kept us dreaming through bleak winters, or when Doomsday Dan's fiery speeches brought hope back from the brink. Every week now, cornerback Josh Paschal and rookie linebacker Jack Campbell are doing extra reps because they hear the whispers and know their chance to claim more than just a backup role is staring them down with relentless intensity and unspoken message from Holmes that this roster isn't just a collection of hopefuls anymore. It's a ticking time bomb ready to explode. Simultaneously, shuffling the depth chart just enough opens a crack in our NFC North rivals' armor. What happens when the Packers' underwhelming front struggles with the added juice in Detroit's pass rush, or when Minnesota's aging secondary begins to wilt under pressure? It's all becoming a chess match, with every move bubbling beneath the surface. And here's where it cuts deeper. What if this veteran rush guru's return isn't just about pass pressure? What if Smith's presence triggers an internal power shift, pushing players like rookie James Houston into the shadows, making a statement that only the strongest survive and that Detroit's new identity is one forged by sacrifice, grit, and that unbreakable Detroit spirit? And deeper still, who's willing to pay the price in cap space and future picks to sign a guy like Smith? What's the cost for glory? And are we gambling away our draft assets for that shot? Because every bone-shattering sack, every relentless effort in practice echoes Isaiah Thomas' relentless hustle, or Calvin Johnson's breathtaking catches, legendary moments in a decade-long arc of resilience, heartbreak, and relentless hope. And right now, Campbell's fiery eyes are on Smith as he walks into the locker room, an unspoken fiery challenge and a silent promise that Detroit's run isn't just about getting back to the playoffs. It's about rewriting history, about making a statement that no one saw coming, especially the NFC North's top brass who've been sneaking peeks at this secret weapon. The ripple effects? The Panthers, the Chargers, and even the league's upper echelon are quietly holding their breath, aware that if Detroit hits the right notes with Smith back at full throttle, we're talking about a defensive nightmare that transforms the Lions from hopeful dark horse into a must-watch juggernaut, one capable of shutting down star-studded offenses on command and making Ford Field the fortress no one dares to challenge. This is the moment where Detroit's past scars meet the future's promise, where over a decade of near misses, heartbreaks like the 0-16 nightmare, And those blistering playoff heartbreaks at Lambeau or playing catch-up in primetime finally culminate in a decisive, roaring statement Detroit's back. And this time, no one's stopping us. And as the stadium's lights cut through the haze of anticipation, the question is no longer if Smith rejoins the fold, but how quickly he'll reignite that electric edge. Will he step onto the field in Week 1, or is his return still cloaked in mystery, a tantalizing gamble that might just decide the fate of Detroit's seasons to come? All while a hushed voice in the back of every Lions fan's head whispers, "This is the year we finally sever all doubts and prove we're not just contenders. We're champions in the making, so get ready." Because Detroit's renaissance isn't waiting for a signal anymore. It's charging full speed toward a destiny only the brave dare to chase. And when that final whistle blows, one thing's for sure: nobody will leave Ford Field without feeling the thunderclap of a city reborn. No looking back, no second guessing, just the roar of a crowd ready to etch its name in NFL history forever.